Overnight, New South Wales had 38 cases of community transmission. 18 of those were people who had been in isolation for the entire time. 9 had been in isolation for part of the time. And unfortunately, 11, we understand, had been infectious for a number of days in the community. Now, those numbers are too high. We need to get those numbers down. And I want to say in the most strongest possible terms, please, please avoid contacts with other households. Please avoid visiting family and friends because you're not allowed to. When we talk about providing care or compassion, we're talking about one person visiting someone who might be isolated, dropping off goods or essential services or providing essential services. We're not talking about visiting extended family members. We're not talking about visiting friends. This is, the data shows in the last few days, that is how the virus is spreading. And the saddest message out of all of that, is that people with the virus are passing it on to those they love most. We're seeing the greatest number of people get the virus in the last few days being household contacts. Parents, children getting it, grandparents, extended family members. So please know the rules are there for all of us to respect those rules, and I appreciate how difficult it is. And I want to express that my comments go to everybody who's under stay-at-home orders. Just because your suburb or your local government area doesn't have any cases of the virus doesn't mean that you won't get that, doesn't mean that you won't potentially be spreading the virus. So the two strongest messages we really need to get across today is, firstly, please stop visiting people indoors outside your family, your household. Your immediate family means those you live with. It doesn't mean extended family or friends, and that goes across the board, across any person who's in lockdown. Providing care means one person goes to support someone who might be in isolation or who might be receiving Meals on Wheels or who might need goods or services. And of course there are exceptions with that, with disability care and the like. But in the main, if you need to provide support to a loved one who's isolated and can't take care of themselves, it does not mean taking your whole family. It doesn't mean taking other people along with you. We need to be stern about this. We just need less movement to get those number of exposures down. The numbers will bounce around, but we need to see the number of people exposed in the community down. So that the first strongest message is do not visit people outside your household in indoor settings. And secondly, please make sure that if you have the mildest of symptoms, you're not going out of your house to a workplace or to visit a loved one who needs care or any other reason. If you have the mildest of symptoms, the only reason you should be leaving your home is to get a COVID test. And we can't stress that enough. The two biggest areas where people are spreading the virus is through household contacts or people close to them and people who are undertaking activity with symptoms. Now, these are the two greatest causes for where we see the rates of community transmission at the moment. We don't want to prolong the lockdown. We don't want to see Sydney or New South Wales go in and out of lockdown until we have the vast majority of our population vaccinated. So it's really up to us, to all of us, to step up, as difficult as it is. And you'd expect me to be very direct and frank on what we need to focus on. And I ask everybody who's under the stay-at-home orders to really respect the rules that are in place. They're there for a reason.